Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is David. I'm known on the internet as Unity Freedom. So today we'll continue on with the topic of the Eightfold Path. And today's topic will be effort, or right effort, higher effort. So I'll come back and talk more after this short introduction. Welcome back. So, in the Buddha's Eightfold Path, today I'm going to talk about effort. And of course, in the Buddha's Eightfold Path, a lot of Buddhists, including myself, have pondered what is the right effort and what is the wrong effort, and how I should do the right effort, what is the right effort, and what is the wrong effort. And for many years, that kind of thinking has really bothered me, have really put a lot of effort on me, a lot of focus and concentration and effort to make sure that I am doing the right effort, to follow the Buddha's teaching that this is the right effort and I'm going to do that effort and I'm going to ignore the wrong effort. But after a while, I noticed that this is just too much effort to think, to analyze, to judge what is the right effort to do. And I don't think that's what the Buddha meant to teach us in regards to effort. So after a few years, it came to me, at least in this aha moment, of what is the right effort, what is the high effort that the Buddha wanted us to learn about. And today, I'm going to share that insight with all of you. So, I'll start with a story about my experience in how I discovered and how I reached the aha moment in regards to effort. So many years ago, I used to work in nursing. And part of my nursing curriculum when I was a nursing student was to be in the preceptorship in a environment, in a facility environment where I can take care of patients. So one day, my head nurse, registered nurse, asked me, David, what would you like to be placed in? And of course, everyone wants to be placed in a really prestigious facilities so they can, after their preceptorship, after their practicum, working in that healthcare facility, they can get instantly hired. And of course, for me, I wanted to be right there with my schoolmates, classmates as well too. But there is that inner desire when I was making that choice and when the registrar was asking me, the inner desire to work in a hospice. Because the nursing school had an agreement with two hospices, two candidates placed in two hospices to work as a healthcare nurse, taking care of patients. And everyone else chose to work in facilities, in hospital settings and environment. But I chose to work in hospice. I don't know why. But it was this inner desire, this inner guidance that I got from within myself, that I need to be placed in a hospice. There is something I need to learn while I'm practicing my skills, my practicum in the hospice. So I was placed in a hospice. It was kind of like a rundown hospice. There were two choices. One is a really nice hospice that takes care of really rich people. And there is another hospice run by the same organization. It's actually ran by religious, a Catholic organization. And the other hospice is located in the downtown east side, which is the poor area. And I was gravitated not to work in a prestigious, in a wealthy hospice where everything is nice and clean, but I was gravitated to work in the downtown east side, in a hospice where I'm supposed to be taking care of drug addicts, prostitutes, johns, all kinds of people that society want them to disappear. But I felt that I needed to be there. There's something I need to learn. There's something I need to experience. And so I went there. And I worked there for a few weeks. And the head nurse in the hospice one day was inundated with a lot of work. So she usually takes care of a number of female patients, and those patients were former working girls, or known as prostitutes. So I was working with a number of prostitutes, former prostitutes, and they all have different issues. And when you go into hospice, you typically go into hospice because you have only 6 months to live. So a lot of people have, when they're in the hospice, have given up hope. That when I was there, I heard this common theme from many of these people, that they believe God has abandoned them, that there were the sins of the sins, that they have committed so much sin that God had abandoned them. They have given up on the hope and the joy and the deliverance of God, because they thought God has abandoned them. They're all alone, they're dying, they're going to go to hell. Everything is bad for them. So of course for me, it's kind of like odd, because why would you be frustrated and angry in a God that actually loves you, not hates you? But suffice to say, I was there to experience the contrast when people have given up hope that God could help them, could assist them. So one day I was helping out my head nurse, and she was inundated with a lot of work. And her relief, because we're all working in casual until we become permanent. In the union, when you work casual, just work casual. You don't have a permanent position. You don't have a permanent hours. You're there to relieve people after the shift is over. So my shift has started, and my head nurse shift is ending. And because she was inundated with a lot of work, she couldn't complete some of the tasks. One of which is to help shower a female patient. She has COPD. She needs to breathe through an oxygenator. There's an oxygen machine that provides oxygen And she needs to breathe through that because she has COPD. She has the issues with breathing through her lungs. And so I was called to help her out. I was called to help her shower, to make sure that she is cleaned before dinner. And so she asked me, David, can you help me out and shower Amy? Now, Amy is not her real name. I'm sharing these insights of patients I work with, but in lieu of privacy matters, I'm changing the names of the people I had taken care of so not to relate to who they truly are. So I will name this individual Amy. So Amy was a former working girl, and as many of the women that are in the hospice were former working girls. And my head nurse asked me to give Amy a shower. But then I asked my head nurse, are you sure you want a man to shower a woman? And my head nurse says, don't worry, David. She was a former working girl. She's used to having men look at her naked body, play with her body. Oh yeah, you have no problem. She's used to it. So to me, I felt a little uneasy because I never shower a naked woman. Yes, I've taken care of women before, but not completely naked. But she was completely she was tied up. She just couldn't get away from her work to help Amy out. So she asked me to help her out. And so I went to Amy's room and I told her that it's time for you to shower. And of course, Amy asked me back, where is my head nurse? She usually showers me. And I told Amy, just because she's really busy, I'm here to take over her duties and help you shower. And of course, she was looking, her eyes were swirling all over the place. She didn't feel comfortable at first of having me shower her, but I told her, you know what, Amy? I'm here just to shower you. If you feel uncomfortable, I won't look at you. I'll just close my eyes and just shower the best I could. I just want to clean the bottom, your vagina, so that I make sure that it's not dirty, so you won't have a UTI, a urinary tract infection. So I just want to make sure that you are clean so you can be ready for dinner. So I spoke to her in a very calm voice, and I completely respected her needs. She wants to be private, she wants to cover this and that. I will basically accommodate her needs. But when we went to the shower and she stripped and became fully naked, I looked at her and she sat on a chair, the shower chair, in a very peculiar fetal position. And I said, what are you doing, Amy? I mean, you can stand, you don't have to sit like that. And Amy told me, you know, I'm so used to men. When I'm naked, that's how I sit. That's how men wants me to sit, to be in a passive position, to get ready for them to take advantage of me, basically to have sex with her. And it was automatic for her. When she sees me as a man, it's her automatic response to be in the fetal position, to be in this passive position, in this helpless, victimized position, as though she was ready to allow me to have sex with her. But of course, I was like looking at her, it's like, what are you doing? I'm not having sex with you. I am here to help clean yourself so that you're clean and you're ready for dinner. And she kept saying that, no, that's not that's not usually what men wants. I know you. I know you. You want to take advantage of me. Here, take advantage of me. Here, touch the bottom. Touch my bottom. Play with my bottom. It's okay. It's almost like it's an automatic response. It's like ready to have sex. Once you saw a man, passive, willing to please the man, willing to please me, because I'm a man. So I scratched my head and I said, no, I'm not here to take advantage of you, Amy. If you think that I'm here to take advantage of you, I'll just wash you, I'll hand the soap, I'll hand the scrub, and then you can clean yourself. But I won't look at you. Whenever you feel you want privacy, let me know. I'll give you complete, full privacy. Because I'm not interested in taking advantage of you, taking advantage of your body. I had to keep repeating myself, explaining myself that I'm not here to take advantage of you. I'm not one of your former Johns. I'm not here to take advantage of you and have sex with you. I'm here to take care of you. And so finally she came about to realize that I'm actually here to treat her well, to respect her will, to respect her body. And all this time I never touch her body. I just gave the soap. I just make sure the breathing tube is not obstructing her with the shower and not touching the water. So that's my job, just making sure that the breathing tubes are dry and the oxygen tank is not close to water. That was my job. And then she just cleaned herself. And at all times, I ask her, what would you need? What would you want me to do? I kept assuring her that I'm not here to take advantage of her. And it's like, to me, it's kind of odd because I have to keep reassuring her again and again and again that I'm not here to take advantage of her. Because she was always reverting back again and again in this victimized mindset that, okay, well, you want to take advantage of me? You want to touch my body? Go ahead. But after that experience, she finished the shower. She dried herself off. I gave her the clothes. She wore the clothes. And then she came out. She smiled at me. She really was a bit stunned and don't know what to say. Because she said, I never met a man like you. She even said to me, right in my face, I have never met a man like you who respected me so deeply, who never thought about taking advantage of me, even though you have that ability, or you have, like, no one is seeing, no one looks at me and looks at us, we're in the shower room, no one would know if I take advantage of her. But it was that impression that I gave to her that I was different from other men, that I didn't take advantage of her. So a couple of days later, we met. And she came up to me and she said, thank you to me. I said, Amy, what would you thank me for? And she said, the first time when I saw you as a male nurse, I didn't have any good impression of you because you are male. I always associate male as being someone who takes advantage of women, who goes around taking advantage of women, because that's what I see in my life, in my whole life. All the men I was with, they take advantage of me. They use me. They see me as a piece of meat. But you were different. You didn't see me as a piece of meat. And she was explaining to me that if you weren't here to give me the contrast between you, David, and the other man, I would have assumed all men are sexual beasts. All men are only interested in fucking me. That's what she said, in fucking me. All men were interested. And in her life, it's true, because as a working girl, as a prostitute, all the man sees her is just a convenience for them to have sex with her. So never understood that there are other men that don't do this. But then she went to explain to me that she has a very rough childhood. And she was explaining to me that when she was a child, her father treated her like a slut. Basically, her father traumatized her continuously and made her accept that she was a slut. And as a slut, you have to treat men a certain way. And basically, her father was manipulating her to treat him a certain way. And that way is to please him, traumatize her, the daughter, to please him a certain way. As she grew up, she saw through her own lens and how she was brought up to treat men the same way as she treated her dad. And that led her to a life of pleasing men, being a sugar baby, attracting sugar daddies, because to her that's a normal thing to do, the natural thing to do. In fact, she told me this is her natural state to be a victim, looking through the lens that her father put it on her, through the trauma that her father placed on her. But of course, that's not only the trauma that she received from her dad when she was young, but the traumas that she received from many past lifetimes. It's just her dad is just part of the equation to reinforce the traumas that she had not resolved in past lifetimes with men who used her. Maybe in the past lifetime, she had to survive by pleasing men, because 2,000 years ago or many thousands of years ago, women doesn't have that sense of independence, financial independence, and have to rely on men to survive. And when you build up this reliance on men to survive, you build up this lens, this illusion that you must please men to get, or to survive first, but to get what you want. In this lifetime, she was brought up by her father, and it wasn't really kind of like a physical abuse. It was a mental abuse on her when she was telling me, because it wasn't really that her father beat her up. It was a mental abuse that the father would praise her if she pleases him. But anything that she has her accomplishments. Like she was really good at arts. She loved arts. She loved drawing. She loved creating sculptures. She was really creative. But when she was creative, she was drawing this and creating that. Her father looked at the works and he told her daughter says, no, not a good thing to do and pursue. Being an artist is a loser. You will never make lots of money being an artist. You will never make lots of money drawing that crap. So she felt really, it was a trauma. It was traumatizing for her because she was expecting that, hey, Daddy, you should admire my paintings. You should admire my my sculptures. And she was like 10 years old at the time. And she told me that at 10 years old, she had all these ideas, creating, painting, but her dad never really appreciated what she was gifted to do. But instead, her dad groomed her. If you want to be a successful woman, you need to behave like this. You need to please men who are rich. You need to behave a certain way to please a certain men who are rich, wealthy, and powerful. That's your ticket to wealth, and that's your ticket to prosperity and power. And so that's how she saw men, as someone who she needs to please. But she's looking for specific men because that's what her dad told her. But I think that in the past life, she was attached to many rich and powerful men to survive. So she doesn't feel like she doesn't have any income, any ways to get an income. So these men provide her with income. But being in this life, she was a working girl. She got pretty good income. She hooked up with a number of sugar daddies, and they were paying her way, paying room and board, every expenses. And I remember she was showing me the photos of her being with many men, and I was looking at the photos and it's like, wow, you were really beautiful. And she was really beautiful, young and beautiful and innocent, with many men who provided her with whatever she needs, but in turn used her for sex. And some of the men were married as well too. So she became someone else's mistress as well. But in due time, her health started to fail. She started to become older. The men realized, well, she's not as young and as beautiful anymore. So time and time, these men were abandoning her. And she became depressed. She didn't understand why these men abandoned her. And in that depression, she started to take on some substance abuse, smoking a lot, drinking, and so forth, that led her to the health issues that she was suffering then. She has COPD, hard to breathe. She has all other kinds of illnesses that led her to be in the hospice because all the illnesses she only had, like when I saw her, she only had 1 month to live. 1 month. And so when I met her, she only had 1 month to live. But after a couple of weeks, she turned around. She became different. She's not as depressed. She's not as angry. And I saw her letting one guy in. She met her on the streets because she was homeless, and the other guy who always brings her, treats, cranberry juice, her favorite, and a jug of cranberry juice, because I remember he always bring me a jug of cranberry juice so I can put it in the fridge, because she loved drinking that juice, and the treats as well. But this guy, even though he's poor, he would spend all that money that he, I guess, earned elsewhere, and he would buy these things for her. But one of the things is that he wants to make her happy. And I see her as like, this guy is really decent. He's not looking at her wanting things, anything other than just companionship and friendship with her. Not sex, not nothing. But she was pushing him away, because she felt that because he's a man, what he's doing is basically just trying to get inside her vagina. That's her mindset. But because of me, because I gave her the cold water, the cup of cold water in Christ's name, to give the contrast that there are good men who don't see women as a piece of meat, who don't put women down as a sexual toy, who really care about women, who respects women. And this guy actually respects her, cares about her. But he could not get close to her because she was pushing him away. But anyways, I only had a few months in the facility, simply just for me to finish my training so I can be certified to work in the facility. And so I left Amy. I said goodbye. I hope you're well. I thought, okay, she's got only 1 month to live. I told her, you don't worry about it. You're not sinful. You're not going to hell. When you die, just embrace God. Embrace the tunnel of light. And on the other side, there will be good, loving beings who will take care of you. And I was telling that to Amy, reassuring her that when you go, there is the light at the end of the tunnel. And I left. 9 months later, on another facility that I work as a casual, I saw Amy. I was passing by and I was finishing my shift and I was ready to leave, and I went into the dining hall, and there she was. She was healthy. She was happy. I was shocked. Because 9 months, I thought you're supposed to die. And I actually went there and I said to Amy, hey Amy, I thought you're supposed to die. And Amy looked at me and said, David, is that all you think about me? And then we both laughed. No, I lived. I didn't die. So what made you live? What made you want to live? And she told me, because my friend, this man, I want to be with him. I want to experience a new life with this man. A new beginning. Because what happened was, she was able to switch from identifying herself of being a slut to now being someone who's worthy of a loving man, who can live a good life with a loving man. And that man, he comes by, he brings again a jug of cranberry juice, and she loved it. And I looked at them and said, oh, are you going to marry him? And Amy said, yeah, we're working on it. We're working to get married together. And I said, great, Amy. So what made you change your mind? What made you change your mind that you're hopeless and now you're hopeful that you're going to have a good future with this guy? And Amy told me, it's because of you. And she handed me a letter, a nice long letter, and I read the letter, and I was really touched and grateful. In it, she said, because of me, because of my presence, it gave her an ability to step back and see the unreality of her condition, that she's not a slut. She's not someone who just take off their clothes and then let the man take advantage just to get something in return. She's a good, decent human being that can love someone and someone can love her. And she realized that because she has someone to contrast with. I was contrasted by the men who took advantage of her, that I didn't take advantage of her. And that was the contrast. And she used that contrast to undo the choices that led her to take on the illusion that she was a slut. She's a victim. So that's her life. That's all she's good for, is being a slut. And she used my contrast, my example, to undo the conscious decision that led her to take on the illusion. So, of all the long story that I've shared with all of you, so what it has to do with effort? Well, in Amy's case, what is going on in Amy's mind? So in your mind, 3 things are happening: energy, beliefs, or illusions or mental images, and consciousness. Now, when you are traumatized by someone, you take on this fear energy. You felt, what did I do wrong? I must have done something wrong. So this energy you taken on is the fear-based energy. And then of course, if you've taken on the illusion, like in this case Amy, she is a slut. Now the illusion, what is an illusion? Is it a false knowledge? Or is it a false accusation from someone? No, the illusion is something you have taken on and become your identity. Because what is your default state? Your default state, our default state, is our higher self. That is our true default state. Nothing else. Our higher state is our default state. Anything out of that default state is a state of duality. You have taken on a temporary identity, a temporary existence. And when you've taken on a temporary existence, you can experience temporarily that existence. And when you temporarily experience that existence, it gives you that experience for a certain time. Now, if you have a connection, a pure, strong, firm connection with your higher self, you can go into a temporary existence and take on the selves and the ego that will lead you to have a certain experience, but you can always get yourself out of it. Always get yourself out of it if you have a firm connection with your higher self. So what is the Buddha's Eightfold Path? The Buddha Eightfold Path is to allow you to step outside your ego and your outer selves. But this is not something that you force it. It's an experience. You surrender yourself to receive this experience. And when you get this experience, you're able now to look at yourself and say, do I really need to be this person anymore? Do I really need to have this experience anymore? Or I could just switch and take a different experience by letting go of the consciousness of the psychology that I took on, the illusion. Because you may be able to see the illusions, but you also need to undo the consciousness that led you to take on that illusion. And you have this choice that when you see the illusion, when you see the psychology, you also have to undo it. And when you are in the process of undoing, you need to step outside yourself and be able to make a choice. Because what happens is that your ego and your outer selves will convince you to stay in the illusion, the experience. Because these the ego and the outer selves have this self-preservation. They want to save themselves because they don't want to die. So they will convince you whenever someone is helping them awaken, like me, helping people awaken, people will then realize, okay, I see the illusion, I get it. But they still have to make a conscious decision to let the psychology go, to undo that psychology. And that is the responsibility of the person that took on the illusion, took on the psychology. Like for me, it wasn't me that helped Amy undo the choices she made many lifetimes ago, and when she was with her dad. It was a conscious decision she did by undoing her identity of being a slut to becoming someone who is not a slut, who deserves a good life. And so she had to step outside of herself, because that experience, she received that experience because she wanted to have a new life. She wanted to have a new experience. And so she received the experience of stepping outside from herself and reconnecting with her higher self. And then she can then make the choice to undo the psychology and the illusion she had taken on. And I did that too. I stepped outside of myself to undo the choices and the illusion I had taken on, that I can help others undo the choices they took of the illusions, which I know now I cannot do. I can help people see the illusions, but I cannot help them undo the choices they took to take in that illusion. By letting go more and more of your unresolved psychology, by letting go more and resolving your traumas, you actually get closer and become more oneness with your higher self. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is let go of your traumas, your psychologies, and that don't serve you anymore, and your identity, especially as a sinful person. You're not a sinful person. That is an illusion that's being fed by other people that makes you feel guilty, makes you feel unwhole. But really, you're a whole person. You're a spiritual being. You're ready to reunite back with your higher self. The only thing you have to do is get rid of the garbage that you have taken on. You know how it is easy to get rid of garbage? chuck the garbage and put it in the trash can. How much effort do you need to throw garbage into the trash can? No effort at all. Effortlessness. It's effortless because it's garbage. It's a baggage you don't need to have anymore in order to reconnect you to your higher self. Throw the garbage. Don't go out there and punish people. Oh, you don't like the drug cartels because it's causing a lot of people suffering because they're taking on drugs. You think that getting rid of drug cartels is going to be the solution? No. Because when there is a demand, there will be supply. You have to address the demand. You have to address what's in you that's causing you to want to have to take more drugs. Not try to change outer conditions, eliminate the supply, because as long as you have a demand that you want the drugs, it will appear. It doesn't matter. It will constantly continue to be manifest because it comes from your mind. It's inside your mind. When you have a mind that needs a supply of drugs, you will manifest it into the universe, and the universe will deliver that supply to you. So even you ask someone to eliminate all the drug cartels, all the drug labs and so forth, it will continue to appear elsewhere. It can never stop. The only way to stop is to let go of the psychology that compels you to take on drugs. So, that's all I have to say today. As usual, please subscribe to my channel if you like my talks. And if you like my talks, please like my video so the algorithm will help others find my video and my insights helpful as well. In any case, I thank you again for tuning into my channel. This is David saying goodbye.